few months ago, I was speaking to a sister who had recently started praying again. She told me, I'm trying, but when I look at people around me, I just feel like I'll never catch up. My prayers feel rushed. I don't wear the hijab. I don't even know if Allah is happy with me. Then she said something that really stayed with me. She said, when I compare myself to everyone else, I feel like I don't even belong in this religion. Ouch. She was doing her best, but the weight of comparison was crushing her spirit. That is the reality for so many of us. We fall into the trap of comparing our spiritual journey to someone else's, and it robs us of our peace and our motivation to keep going. Maybe you've done this too. You see, someone who recites Quran fluently, who always seems connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you think, I'm not like that. I must be failing. But here's the truth. Everyone is on their own unique journey, shaped by their circumstances. Even the Sahaba were different from one another, and I'll return to that in a moment. But first, remember that Allah created each of us with different strengths and different struggles. We're all unique personalities. We're all unique beings. What He wants from you is for you to try your best based on your own context. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not comparing you to anyone else. He's looking at you, your effort, and at your sincerity. One of the most comforting truths in Islam is this. On the Day of Judgment, we will all be judged in light of the blessings and the trials that we were given in our unique lives. Someone who had a nurturing upbringing, stable parents, access to religious education, and emotional support will be held to a very different standard from someone who grew up in hardship, instability, trauma, and neglect. Allah is Al-Adl, the most just, and His justice is not one size fits all, because with blessings comes responsibilities, and with responsibilities comes accountability. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, then on that day you will surely be asked about the favors you enjoyed. A nurturing upbringing is a favor. Access to religious learning is a favor. Emotional support is a favor. And we will be asked about how we use these blessings if we did have those blessings. But if someone was not given those blessings, how can they be held responsible for not having them? Your struggle to hold on to faith through pain may actually be more beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than someone else's ease in worship during comfort. Acknowledge your challenges, not to make excuses, but to recognize the weight you carry and the effort it takes to keep going. Allah sees your silent battles, your private grief, and the times you rise again after falling. When you acknowledge your struggles, you are not giving up. You are choosing to try again with sincerity despite the difficulties that come your way. And that perseverance in the face of hardship is often the most powerful form of worship that can exist. We are all like athletes in this journey of life. We each have different strengths. Some of us are long-distance runners. Others are sprinters, quick to act and respond in moments of crisis. Some excel in endurance, holding firm through long seasons of uncertainty. Others are like archers, precise and focused, making deliberate efforts at just the right moment. In the same way, our spiritual strengths differ. Some people find ease in prayer, others in charity, some in patience, others in seeking knowledge, or simply in being consistent. Yes, we should aim to develop well-rounded skills. We want to improve in our prayers, our manners, our self-control, and our sincerity. But the reality is each of us have unique strengths. What matters is not whether your strengths mirror someone else's, but whether you are using what Allah has given you for His sake and His sake alone. The playing field of life is not level, but the test is always fair. Allah will not ask you why you did not run like someone else. He will ask whether you gave your all in your lane with your blessings and your challenges. So stay focused. Run your race and never underestimate the value of sincere effort, even if it looks different from everyone else's. Even among the Sahaba, they differed in personality, in temperament, and in types of strengths that they each had and the way they contributed to the Ummah. Take Abu Bakr as an example. His strength was in his quiet but unwavering loyalty to the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his deep generosity as well. He supported the Prophet emotionally, financially, and spiritually in ways few others could have. Then there is Omar ibn al-Khattab, known for his strength and powerful sense of justice. His leadership was driven by deep responsibility before Allah. He once said, as an example of his justice, if a mule were to stumble on the road, I would fear that Allah would question me about it. A mule stumbling on the road. His commitment to justice became a strength, not just for the community, but as a source of relief and order for the Ummah at the time. Then there is Khalid ibn Walid, the fearless commander. His strength was not in scholarship or narration of hadith. He only narrated a few hadith, but his strength was his military brilliance. His service to Islam on the battlefield earned him the name Saifullah, the sword of Allah. And then consider Nusayba, who also displayed great strength. During the Battle of Uhud, when many had fled, she physically defended the Prophet, peace be upon him, prompting him to say, whenever I looked to my left or to my right, I would see Nusayba protecting me. That was an extreme compliment. Then you have Abu Huraira and Aisha, who were not known for military strengths, but their contributions were no less vital. Abu Huraira narrated over 5,000 hadith despite embracing Islam much later and therefore not being around the Prophet as much as other Sahaba. He was blessed with a dua from the Prophet for his commitment and devotion. And you have Aisha, on the other hand, who was a scholar who had the nickname of Scholar of Scholars. Her intellectual legacy shaped Islamic knowledge for generations through her teachings, through her wisdom, and through her narrations. She left her mark permanently on the Islamic tradition. Then you have Abdurrahman ibn Auf, a gifted businessman who was not known for battles or sermons, but for his extraordinary generosity. He was a businessman who accumulated wealth in a very short period of time in Medina, which meant that he was then able to donate and give so much. So you can see that the Sahaba were different with their strengths, with their qualities, and therefore don't compare what you have, your strengths, to someone else's. So the point is, they were all different. Some were scholars, others military leaders, and others successful in trade. Yet each was beloved to the Prophet, peace be upon him, and each held a distinct station with Allah based on what they offered with sincerity. There is no single formula for spiritual success in Islam. The real question is this: did you strive with sincerity using what you were given? And finally, let us not forget how social media distorts our perception of others as well. We scroll through curated posts, Quran recitations, Hajj pictures, charity campaigns, and Ramadan goals, and we feel like everyone else is ahead of us. But remember, you are seeing the highlights of someone's life. You are not seeing the doubts, the missed prayers, the private battles, or the quiet tears that are taking place in their life. Turn inward, ask yourself, what can I do today in my life with my unique struggles to come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? That mindset is what leads to true spiritual growth.